Greetings, everyone, and welcome to ACEDS Data Unmasked, streaming live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. My name is Michael Quartararo. I am the president of ACEDS. Today, we will be joined momentarily by Bryan Bellack, Executive Vice President of Sales at Haystack. Bryan's been working in the industry for 20 plus years. We'll get to his background a little bit, but first I should note that Haystack is a professional services organization providing e-discovery, information governance, and cybersecurity services to the legal community. You can learn more by visiting HaystackID.com. Haystack is also an incredible and valued partner of ACEDS, and we like to highlight what's going on in the industry for the benefit of our community. So every month we're talking with experts like Bryan to discuss some of the latest trends and happenings in the industry. Let's get into it. Bryan, thank you for making time to join us and welcome to the broadcast.
Oh, so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I always like to start, Bryan, with a little bit about you. So tell us a little bit about your journey in e-discovery, because it's always interesting to learn how people got into the e-discovery business. It's not like you go to school for it.
Right. No, I did. So I started my career. I graduated law school and I got a job as a assistant corporation counsel at the New York City Law Department. It was 2002, so it was for the World Trade Center unit, defending the city against claims from, there were property damage claims, but there were also claims from cops and firefighters who, if you remember, they ran down to the pile, they weren't properly fit tested, and a lot of them got sick. And they sued the city, and it was upwards of 10 billion. So they created this unit, and that was my first job out. It's 2002, and right away we needed to preserve data. And at this point, you needed to preserve digital evidence. So I was the young guy. No one wanted to deal with it. They put me on it. And then 3 years later, I had to do 3 years at court counsel. I got an offer from an e-discovery company that tripled my salary, which was very low, but gave me an out.
Welcome to government employment, right?
Gave me an opportunity, and I took it. And e-discovery, as you know, in those days was very innovative and new, and now here we come full circle, almost 23 years later, and again, all this innovation. So that's how I got started.
Awesome. So you're at a conference, I think you said in DC. Tell us a little bit about that conference. How's it going? Any takeaways that you could share for those who are not able to attend?
Yeah. So I'm at the National Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers conference, and it's a group of white-collar criminal defense lawyers. There's some major, AmLaw 25 law firms here, and there's also a lot of boutiques, folks doing all types of work in this arena. And there's about 200 of us, and it's a great group. Right now, I just had to walk out of a session with Tenny Garagos, who is the lead attorney for the Sean Combs matter, describing how she was picking a jury. Fortunately, I got to hear a lot of it, but fascinating. But, that type of group and those type of conversations.
Yeah, and I think when we think about e-discovery, like the people don't automatically think about criminal defense because most cases are like, some local DA prosecuting some, robbery or something like that. And there's really no e-discovery in that. But white collar criminal defense is a whole nother ballgame. They can really get complex. I used to work on them back in my days at the firm. This conference has been going on for a number of years. Why do you think it's so important for criminal lawyers to come together and learn from each other? And I mean, I assume there's some discussion of e-discovery at this conference.
Yeah. So, like you said, white collar covers a lot of ground. Tenny Garagos is here talking about Sean Combs. The work we really do are internal investigations, regulatory investigations. Think of FCPA, right? Cross-border criminal investigations.
FCPA, for those who don't know, Foreign Corrupt Practices Act.
Correct. And those are projects where you may need to do collections in different countries all over the world, set up e-discovery reviews, whether it's behind four walls in a room there, or whether you can do it remote, provide reviewers, and you move from country to country doing investigations. It's very complex. There's privacy rules, all of those things. So that's really why we're here for that type of work. And to your point, it's been around for about 20 years. So there really are some very high level people in the industry at this conference, and they're sharing thoughts. For example, I hate to keep going back to this, but Tenny Garagos, when she was talking about jurors, never in her life had she experienced jurors saying, "Oh yeah, I saw the video, but I can be completely non-biased," or "Yes, I can truth, I can do this." So, she's sharing, how different folks are reacting in like an age of social media and in an age of celebrity. She was talking about it, and then with the technology, I think right now AI in the investigations front, there's more flexibility than there is in litigation. You can do more. There's more tactical use. If you need a white collar defense attorney needs to see data within 24 to 48 hours. Right now, it could take 3 to 10 days to process and host data to see something like that. With Gen AI, you now have an ability to see that data, to bubble up timelines, custodians, all of that within 24 to 48 hours. And so that's a real game changer. And so there are other technology companies here, folks are talking about that.
Yeah. So what, obviously Haystack positions itself in the market as a partner in white collar investigations. What makes the team at Haystack so uniquely equipped to handle these, frankly, high stakes matters? White collar is usually pretty high stakes.
Yeah, so we've been doing investigations for years, but we never really, candidly productized it and offered it to the market in the way that we do it. We created a discovery for white collar practice group, and it's really, I think of it as e-discovery on steroids somehow, sometimes in the sense that for forensics, you really need seasoned forensics folks that have been in the field and see funky data. For data analytics, Gen AI is available. Like I said before, there's more flexibility. Data privacy, we have to manage that. It's really a ton of paperwork at the end of the day, but it gets very complicated. Project management, being able to handle multiple time zones, languages, all of those things. So we have a specialized group, and we know how to get investigations done, and we're trying to figure out how to be more efficient with technology. And we're having a lot of success.
And my experience, white collar defense is a little bit different than your sort of garden variety or even high stakes civil litigation, because typically someone's liberty is at stake. And I think that adds a level of urgency, importance, and perhaps craziness to the case. And you mentioned, e-discovery on steroids. Can you explain what's different about e-discovery in a white collar criminal investigation than some civil case?
Yeah, and by the way, yeah, jail sounds very scary, and these their lives are on the line. Their families are on the line. There's a lot going on. So really, everything is heightened. It's high stakes, like you said. So when this happens in a company, their first call should be to a lawyer. That should be their first call. And the reason is it protects them in a veil of privilege and other benefits. And that lawyer right away needs to know how to manage an investigation. And that really means communication. They've got to talk to the board. They've got to talk to other executives in the organization and get ready. And then typically the next thing they have to do is figure out where all the data is. And that's a real challenge. So a lot of times the data could be overseas, or it could be complex proprietary data. Now we have mobile and social media and all of that type of data. So immediately the forensics need is heightened. You want to make sure the folks that we're sending out have all those capabilities and maybe familiar with things that other people aren't familiar with. So right away you have a heightened forensics posture. On the privacy front, maybe it doesn't apply, but if it does, jurisdictionally and within the US, we still have to manage that. But if it's cross-border, it's a lot more complex. Then when it comes to technology, if you're trying to find information quickly and get to the root of things, you're not looking for billable hours. I'm not saying lawyers are doing this, but you're trying to get through this data as quickly as possible. You want to get the stuff that's important and get through the data as quickly as possible. So you really want to take advantage of technology. Now you're hampered by what's available and what's acceptable. But in an investigation, you have more, you can navigate tactically with Gen AI. For example, you could do like an early case assessment to see what you have, get your data within 24 to 48 hours, then figure out what you want to do for a review. And so we typically bring in our data science team. You know, not every matter needs a data science component. So we typically bring in our data science team. Then you add languages and then the human component with review, depending on the location, languages. So it's high stakes. There's a lot involved. There is an end client at the end of the day that's in big trouble or potentially. So we take it seriously. The executives get involved. A lot of times it has executive oversight. It's treated as a priority matter.
Yeah, I think that what most people don't think about when they think about, white collar defense is it's a little bit different. The rules are different. Someone's not just their liberty at stake, but there's rules about like the timing of things, right? Like we have this notion in the US for anyone outside the US of a speedy trial, right? So what does that mean? In civil litigation, we push off discovery deadlines like on a regular basis. Discovery goes on sometimes for years. In a white collar case, that may happen, but the rules require that you actually do things on time, meet deadlines, comply with the federal rules, and so forth. And so it's a little bit different. And my other observation too is that, you mentioned executives. When an executive gets involved, like think about the CEO of a company and how many contacts that person has on a daily basis around the world, within the company, outside the company. Think about all the sort of tentacles of where the data might be, and you've got to identify and collect that data. So it's a little bit different than your sort of run-of-the-mill civil litigation. So tell me about, I know Haystack has global reach, and they've got people all over the world. How does that translate into real advantages for a criminal defense attorney who's looking for help on a complex case?
Yeah, so if it's in Europe, for example, we have a data center and a hub in Ireland. We also have a facility and resources in the UK. So typically out of Europe, we operate out of there. If we need to host data in the EU, we'll use Ireland. Sometimes we have to stand up REL 1 instances in different locations, like Slovenia or some country that but we don't have easy access to. From a resource perspective, we have a very large network around Europe. And a lot of that has to do with our document review business that we've built over the years and folks that we've met over the years. So we typically deploy in Europe. We'll leverage Ireland and the UK, but we sometimes have folks in the ground in different jurisdictions. That's typically how we manage those types of matters. In the US, and I would say abroad too, a lot can be handled remotely now. Mobile collection. So that's a big problem on every case now, but on all of these investigations, you need to collect mobile data. And there's constant updates with iPhones. There's constant issues with passwords and encryption. And also custodians don't want to give it up. They don't want to lose their phone. So how can you get data and keep people amenable to letting you capture it, but not taking it away has been a problem that we've tried to solve. So we have, it's called Metal. It's a suite of services around mobile, from being able to remote into your phone while you're still using it, capture data and stream it into Relativity, to going full bore on-site white glove service, doing a forensic imaging in-person type of approach with ability to even capture hand movements on devices and really intricate data points. So we have that full service solution suite. So when we're working with clients, if we can capture remotely, we try to do that. But a lot of times we have to go on site, and then we just leverage our resources.
And I remember myself being, on site within an organization, sitting in a room with the company executives and saying, we're going to collect phones. And they're like, what do you mean?
Right.
And then I can't be without my phone for 3 hours. What are you talking about? I said, no, we're going to do it here. You just need to leave your phone here. Right. And they're like, I can't be without and the pushback on things like that. Certainly back in the day, I think it's evolved a little bit now. Like you said, you can pull things over the wire. But
It's
yeah,
still
always.
a push. It's still a negotiation and a pushback, and it's still like that, Mike. But yeah, I think it's like more like, okay, if you've done this and this and this, okay, I'll let you have it. We're working with a major celebrity right now, capturing data, and it's been very good. This is a moving target. We've had to go to different countries to capture this data. It's a very large phone. It's one of the newest phones. And we've brought all of the spectrum of metal services to bear to make these collections with him and or her, I should say, and their group, without revealing anything.
And that's fine. We shouldn't reveal anything. But how do you sort of balance that unique space between e-discovery, data privacy? I mean, these phones have all kinds of personal information on them, and get your forensic services folks to ensure no stone is left unturned here, without sort of turning it into, a nightmare litigation.
Well, you need good project management, Mike. You would know this more than anyone. Really, you need someone who's familiar with mobile collections and is managing this. And again, it's usually a seasoned person for this type of matter. And they're there to cover the gaps. They're there really to cover all the gaps. It's the hardest job in our business, but if they have good delegation, they can do that. And we've done this a lot. Our head of forensics, John Wilson, he's testified in all court systems. He's testified for Congress. We have a lot of experience here. We take a very conservative approach. We're not the first ones to say, hey, let's do it remote and stream it. That's an aggressive approach. You leave a lot of data behind when you do that. That's not that capture will not necessarily stand up in court. You might have to go back and preserve again. And so it really depends on what you're looking for. But just being able to have that flexibility and, being able to navigate those different scenarios is what we need to do in e-discovery right now, until there's like a great solution that just covers it all. But it's a bit of a patchwork.
And so how are you advising clients? I mean, there's a lot of change. First of all, no conversation like this would be complete today without mentioning artificial intelligence. I feel like
yes,
it's so how are you advising clients to succeed amidst all this change in the industry right now? And how do practitioners stay ahead of this, ahead of what's to come? Obviously, we've got some changes coming in terms of automation, AI. Agentic AI is now the new conversation that we're having.
Right. So just to go to agentic AI. So, this is the world that I've been told we'll see within a short time, maybe 2 to 3 years. But, right now, when you and I go shopping, let's say we go to Amazon.com and we work all the filters and we find what we want and we buy it. Our agents, little Brian or little Mike, you'll say, hey, I want to go buy a bike, but I want this kind. I want a 10-speed and I want to do all of this stuff to it. You'll give it this, refined prompt, and then that agent will execute all of those different activities for you. And you and I will never go back to the internet again. The internet is going to kind of go away, and it's going to turn into something. I don't know what this will morph into, but we're going to be living in a world where we'll have agents acting on behalf for us, which is supposed to give us a lot more time to do other things. So that's what's coming. And so for e-discovery, Mike, and I don't know what you think about this, I could easily see, you create an agent to go and find all the PDFs. You create an agent to go and find all documents with these, this sentiment or these words. And pretty soon you have a full collection. Then you create another agent to process that. I don't know what hosting will look like, but in e-discovery, there's going to be some kind of change here in how data is collected, processed, and hosted, and it's going to move left. The other thing is
it has to, because that's where all the data is.
That's where all the data is. The other thing with people, doc review is a big part of our business, and AI is certainly going to impact that. But some people also say that when you have a data moment like this, like AI or some .com error, that data 10x's itself, so that we will have a lot more data and business would stay the same. We'd still need people, but we'd be using AI to manage this, but we'll have an explosion of data. So it's like, it's unclear what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of uncertainty out there, and it's an exciting time to be involved in this business, and it's going to be interesting to see what happens. So let's see. All right, listen. How should listeners get in touch if they're trying to reach you?
If you're trying to reach me, you can call me anytime at 917-975-2375. You
I
can
love it.
email me at bbellack@HaystackID.com. And there is one other thing I wanted to add to the AI comment.
Absolutely, go.
Yeah, when it comes to the white collar and investigation space, we have a couple of AI tools. We use Relativity Air, and we use a tool called eDiscovery AI. And those are pretty much like the two most well-known AI tools in the market. We're totally agnostic to these tools. And I won't even tell you which one, but one of them gives you an ability to get insights into data very quickly. One of them gives you an ability to use any language you want. One of them can work on multiple platforms. So it depends on what you need, but we have all of that, and we take a very strategic but conservative approach. So we're doing this, but we're testing and sampling and validating. One day all that may go away, but like there's still a QC component, and we got to cover our CYA a bit before we let this out. So just for all our listeners, we're using it. It's been adopted much more now over the last 6 to 9 months, comes up in many conversations now, and we're using it, but we're still taking a tempered approach.
Any other big events coming up? I know we got RelFest around the corner. ACEDS will be there. Haystack, I'm sure, as a partner.
Yes. Yeah, Relativity Fest is coming up. We have a big, we'll have a big group over there for Relativity Fest. And we're also partners with a company. It's called Anderson Consulting. The old Arthur Anderson group kind of reconstituted itself. And it's now a very large, multi-billion-dollar company. And we have a partnership with them. And they do a lot of things. One of the things they do is forensic accounting, which is a big part of investigations.
Sure.
So we can partner with them to do it. But we have a big meeting in Las Vegas with them in November. So that will be fun, and trying to expand our brand. And then it's, Christmas time, Thanksgiving time to see people,
Before you know it, we'll be eating turkey and
yes,
having spoiled pumpkins on our porches.
Yes, and football, and plenty of football between now and then.
Right. Fall season is here. I can't get into football till baseball's over, so
I'm a big base.
Give me a few weeks.
Team? What's your team?
I'm a Mets fan. Sorry, folks. Love the underdogs.
I grew up in Queens. I'm a Mets fan too.
Oh, good. There you go. There you go.
Well, I grew up in Bayside, so
we're hanging on by a thread, my friend. We're hanging on.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. Did we lose last night?
We did lose last night.
Okay, all right.
But so did everybody else that's behind us. So I think we're fine for now.
Okay.
They can't afford to lose more than a couple of games. They're not going to win the division. They're going to be a wild card, and we'll see. Hopefully the offense gets hot and we just start to crush everything. But yeah, I'm a Mets fan. You're a Mets fan. You know the deal.
Yeah, you wear it as a badge.
Is in our DNA.
It's a beautiful state. It's probably the nicest stadium in baseball.
Absolutely.
Right? It's gorgeous. And he's building a soccer stadium there and a casino. Maybe best owner in baseball, possibly.
Could be.
So we have a lot going for us.
Yeah, no, he's doing some good stuff, Steve Cohen. All right, this has been great, Bryan. Thanks for making time to join us today. Everyone else, if you are interested in our short form videos like this one, you can find Data Unmasked and our We Are ACEDS live streams in your LinkedIn, Facebook feeds, or check out the ACEDS YouTube channel where you can watch previous interviews. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great day, Bryan. Have a great day, everyone else. And as always, be kind to one another.